Welcome to Beyond Vows Veils, your luxury wedding experience. Our podcast, I feel, is a treasure trove of inspiration and insight for newly engaged couples. Join us as we have captivating stories, expert insight, and real wedding experiences that you can listen and learn from.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond Vows and Veils. Thank you for joining me each week to listen, learn, and discover more ways that you can make more informed decisions on your wedding planning journey. So today we're diving into the world of entertainment with a truly remarkable guest, Rachel Seniff. She is the dynamic director of sales at Aragon Artists. Rachel has a decade of experience that blends the thrill of entertainment with the strategy of sales, and she has become a driving force behind some of the most unforgettable events across the US, the Caribbean, Mexico, and beyond. She's armed with a BFA from the New York University Tisch School of Arts, and her passion for dance, music, and performance runs deep, making her the perfect guide to help us explore how entertainment can truly elevate any event. So whether she's forging new partnerships, overseeing grand productions, or indulging in live comedy or hidden culinary gems, Rachel's commitment to excellence shines through in every aspect of her work. So in today's episode, we're going to be tapping into Rachel's wealth of knowledge to explore how to incorporate entertainment into weddings, the rise of immersive entertainment, and hear some of her favorite success stories. Plus, she'll be sharing expert advice for couples just beginning to think about their wedding entertainment. So whether you're planning your big day or you just love a good story about the magic lives of on-site performances, stay tuned. This is an episode you definitely won't want to miss. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Rachel, again for joining us on Beyond Vows and Veils.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
So Rachel, for our people that are just tuning in, tell us a little bit about yourself and the company. That would be really great.
My gosh, myself is one of my favorite topics. This is great. So my name is Rachel Seniff, formerly Rachel Laporte. I've been married for about 2 years, and I have a beautiful son, Vincenzo. He's 10 months old. So personally, really fulfilled and happy to be in this chapter, and also given so close to the fact that I recently planned my own wedding and got married myself. This market is just so special to me because I feel very connected personally to a lot of the couples that I'm working with. Grew up in Chicago, Illinois. Went to school and earned my BFA from New York University Tisch School of the Arts. I grew up dancing and singing and acting and am a performer at heart. And, you know, as any working artist and performer in New York City goes, you wear a lot of hats and you have a lot of jobs. And I was that person, you know, like I worked and immersed myself into many different industries over a 10, 15 year period in my late teens, early 20s, and was really able to find myself professionalized in a sense that I knew that I would always be able to have a really successful career and multiple careers outside of the arts themselves. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit about me and my background. That's kind of who I was prior to Aragon and who I still am.
I love that. I think that coming from an entertainment background, obviously it's a no-brainer for you to support with this very elite, specialized entertainment firm.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear a little bit more about Aragon Artists. Can you share with us maybe high level what couples are expecting when they're listening to this episode on what the company provides?
Of course, yeah. So Aragon Artists is a full service entertainment company. We specialize in luxury weddings. Not just weddings, we do so many other events, from milestone birthdays to welcome dinners and bridal showers to birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, quinceañeras, you name it, corporate events, other private events, just the whole public and private event sector is Aragon. But weddings definitely are our bread and butter. We are working weddings all the time. That circuit, we love it. We love everything and all things weddings. So at your wedding, you would expect Aragon to be providing all of your entertainment throughout the entirety of your day or your weekend. So, of course, reception entertainment from our party bands to our DJ hybrids, solo DJs, mega big bands, to cocktail hour entertainment that can be, as classic as a jazz ensemble or even featuring some more smaller specialty ensembles. Your ceremony entertainment, classical strings, solo vocalist, guitar, grand piano, whatever you envision for your ceremony. We craft your day of entertainment that will specialize in both the actual day itself, but then also over like your entire wedding weekend potentially. So really able to just be, provide that entertainment arm for you throughout.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. With weddings and anyone who's listening now, newly engaged couples, when you're thinking about formatting like your overall timeline or the experience or vibe or atmosphere that you're wanting your guests to come into, entertainment is such a pivotal, I feel like so critical of a layer to add into that event. And so having like the big band or the DJ hybrid, like you said, with some like immersive entertainment, I just think completely elevates any event that you would obviously be hosting.
100%. I think I may be biased, but I think that when someone leaves an event or leaves a wedding, they talk about the entertainment, right? Like it's the core memory maker of an event. They're excited. It's where the laughs are had, the spilled drinks, the inside jokes, that's where music and entertainment brings that out with your loved ones, So I think that is just really exciting that we get to be a part of that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like what's that saying, or I have a lot of couples that will say to me, like at the end, I feel like people won't really remember a lot about what it looked like, maybe not necessarily everything we served on the menu, but they're going to remember how we made them feel. And we're going to remember like the entertainment and if they had a really like epic night. And I feel like that really comes from your entertainment being on point. Just a small segue, obviously I do a lot of Indian weddings. I know obviously the company supports many different cultural events. Yeah. Do you find that when couples are hiring like their own, like, I don't know, in our instance, South Asian DJ, like that you're able to kind of provide entertainment to like enhance that experience too? Because I know a lot of couples are almost feel like uncertain of like how to do that with their pre-existing DJ. Like just curious if you've run into anything like that in the past.
Yeah, we have. If a couple is coming to us, and so I should rewind and say, in most cases, we prefer to be the sole entertainment provider on site.
Sure.
Because what that allows us to do is to really have a full through line and complete creative control in a sense of making sure that everything feels really seamless, really collaborative on site, that things aren't disjointed throughout your day. So there are cases like you're explaining where someone comes to us and says, hey, we've already contracted this specific DJ. He knows our family. He's done my brother's wedding. Like, I would like to have him here as well. Right. That is a great example of when we say like, yes, absolutely. Like, let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. Assuming that, this DJ is reputable and, feels like it's on the same caliber as our company and our standards, we would then like have a conversation with them of like, how can we all work together to make this work? Mm-hmm. That might be an addition of kind of add in our visual concept of adding that DJ into our already existing musical entertainment for the day. So whether that's, we would then be providing ceremony entertainment with, let's say, strings, and then there's some beautiful like transitional moment, maybe some immersive thrown in, cocktail hour, we might incorporate something. So then for the reception, if the DJ is already booked for that, we could add some of our like highlighted musicians. We would be able to maybe bring in a different MC, someone from our roster who can double as like maybe a rapper and an MC. We would be able to, just exactly as like we're kind of talking about, like bringing in other elements to supplement the already existing contracted entertainment.
Got it. That makes sense. And I think also, I appreciate you kind of making a little bit further of elaboration that, really you are the one-stop shop, that couples can come to you and they can get essentially, all of their requirements when it comes to entertainment, because obviously you've got artists and entertainers and everyone under your umbrella that spans obviously beyond just I don't know, say Florida, maybe talk a little bit about where you've traveled or where you're able to offer those services.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up. So Aragon as a whole is based locally in 3 major U.S. cities. So my hometown of Chicago, New York City, and the South Florida, Palm Beach, Miami market. So based locally there, we have 4 major party bands. They are Affinity out of Chicago, Village Theory out of New York, and Soiree and The Social out of South Florida. Mm-hmm. And those markets are busiest markets only because that's where those bands are based. But I would say we do about 180 to 200 events per year.
Oh, wow.
And at least a third of those would be destination. Mm-hmm. So outside of those markets is what I'm calling more destination. You know, sometimes people think destination and they're only envisioning like a beach, but there could be a rural mountain town that's very much so destination because there may not be a local luxury entertainment company that's based there, you know. So our destination markets that we work in all the time are Napa, Mexico, all of Mexico. So not just like Cabo, Cancun, Mexico City, Riviera Maya. We are all over, Valle de Guadalupe. We've been all over Mexico. So Mexico, Caribbean islands, I said Napa, places in Texas, Houston, the mountains, Aspen, Telluride, in Denver. We're kind of all over the U.S., Mexico, and beyond.
Can help anywhere, which is fabulous. And also shout out to any of those couples that I feel like Mexico has become like a really hot topic for people lately, just in the past year or two. Yeah. So you've got them covered, even if they're in Mexico. I love that. Yeah. So I'd love to talk a little bit about, so obviously, you know, having your team involved, there has to be sort of like, again, like that partnership on, you know, some sort of an immersive experience paired with the main musical act, correct? Yeah. So maybe walk us through, like, when I say immersive experience, maybe for listeners who are just turning in, like, what the heck is that? Can you maybe express a little bit about what that even is?
Definitely. So immersive entertainment is entertainment that allows the experience to be enhanced through little touch points throughout the evening that may or may not be musically based. So let's say we always start with our really clear plan of what the musical crescendo is throughout the day. Let's just talk about a day and not like a weekend. Mm-hmm. So if we have our ceremony entertainment, our cocktail entertainment, our reception, and our after party, immersive entertainment are all of those little synapses that connect those parts of the day together that allow guests to feel really enlightened and sparked by like, oh, another thing. This is another thing. Oh, that's great. And those things that I'm talking about can be really varied. You know, our immersive process is incredibly custom. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if I were just to like spitball a fake wedding day for us, as soon as ceremony is finished, guests are leaving ceremony and they're going into cocktail hour, and there's something as standard, which I'm sure many of our viewers have potentially heard of, like a champagne aerialist, where there's a woman who is serving champagne, but also does aerial. There could be different immersive design outfits. For example, a wardrobe that could be a woman who is like made of champagne glasses, and she's kind of passing out the champagne as we go. Mm-hmm. Those are really popular and have been seen before. This is not a new concept I'm speaking of, you know. But then there are these more custom, new, never been seen before ideas that end up coming out of conversations with clients as it relates to their day. Mm-hmm. So as I'm discussing the immersive conversation, one of the first things I always ask for is like, what have you seen? What do you like? Is there anything you would like to replicate in your own way? I always ask for a design board or a mood board or a theme at the top of our calls, because that will dictate so much, you know, so much of the immersive creation conversation has to start somewhere, you know, like if a couple and a planner comes to us with really no ideas, it's a little harder because I'm just kind of throwing paint on a wall and seeing what sticks. Right. But if someone comes to me and says, you know, our entire mood board is like sexy red velvet, and that we really want the reception to feel like speakeasy, red velvety type thing, immediately my mind and our creative brains at Aragon go, okay, like what does that look like? Like what is this dancers? Is this an activation in which we're incorporating other vendors on site, other vendor partners? So for example, is it something with catering? Is it doing some form of takeaway? For example, sometimes planning companies will have a gift to a favor at the end of the evening that they're passing out. Is that somehow incorporated with our immersive troupe? So it's not just guests are leaving and just picking up a goodie bag on the way out, but is there some form of activation to where it's an experience that the guests are having, that they are immersed in the experience of our entertainment?
Absolutely. I love that. I feel like you nailed it, Rachel, because honestly, just to explain to couples too, if you're asking yourself, how can I set my event apart from somebody else's or a recent event that you went to, you know, what Rachel's describing is a really great way of doing that. So as outside of your main entertainment, your DJ, maybe your big band, maybe your live moment at the ceremony, like these immersive experiences, I know that when I've attended events personally, you almost feel like it's a little bit more magical. You know, I don't know like the correct way of saying it, but it's like, you know, I recently went to Disney World with my son, and like, you know, that is obviously a very immersive experience for children, right?
Yeah. Totally.
And then it's like when you go to a private event and you're all dressed up and you're having a great night, like having those fun little surprises, I feel like are the things that people talk about, right? Like after the event's over, like, oh, did you see this? Or like, did you see that one girl? You know, I just feel like it's a really cool way to create conversation also amongst your guests, like during the event, after the event's over, all that good stuff.
It is. It's exactly that, you know, and sometimes what's special about immersive is these activations like can't touch everyone at your party. If you have a guest list of, you know, 250 people, a large wedding, but not mega 400, just 250.
Sure.
It's not, I would say, let's say there are some activations that only half or a third of the guests will even like see or experience. But then it's the continued conversation at brunch the next day of someone saying, oh my gosh, and did you see that illusionist who did blah, blah, blah? And they're like, no, I missed it. But did you see the this that did that? And then they're like, no way. And it's like the conversation continues. So your event, your wedding lives on outside of just the hours of 7 to 11.
Yeah, I love that. You're so right. I was curious, like obviously you've done so many of these events. Are there like any that stick out at you or that you feel like are memorable just to like share with some of the listeners just in terms of like your realm of doing events?
Yeah. So I have the unique, so I do want to speak about my position at Aragon a little bit because we'll give some background about like full scope of how often I'm on site. Absolutely. So prior to being director of sales, I was the director of event production at Aragon. And as director of event production, I managed and oversaw all of the delivery. So delivery is from when the contract signs through execution of the event.
Okay.
And that meant that I was on site as a senior producer on many events. So I have been personally present myself at so many of our clients' events and weddings, which has just been such a touching experience to be able to be invited into someone's most personal, memorable, important day of their lives and their family lives is something that I do not take lightly. You know, like I'm really grateful to be a part of it and that I'm able to shape those events. So it's a little hard for me to pick a favorite or someone that's like the most memorable because so many of them are so memorable. You know, I think back to this wedding in Chicago, maybe like 2 years ago-ish, in which what was so memorable about that was just like the family, like our clients, you know, like the people there were just so lovely. And it really had nothing to do with entertainment. Like, of course, our band was incredible. Our Chicago band Affinity was incredible. They gave on the best show and were integrated with everyone, but also it was just like the guests, the family, the grandparents. It was so moving. And I think that kind of speaks to our just like overall mission of like how we approach all of our events. You know, we are being invited to someone's most special day. That is very special. And A lot of our events are on NDAs. A lot of our events are, clients and families that are wanting to remain really private. So while I can't speak on like specific events, I can speak on my favorite format, which is a multi-day event. Because a multi-day event in which we are able to be present at the rehearsal/welcome dinner, the ceremony, cocktail hour, reception, potentially after party, and then maybe like a day after brunch, or often in destination locations. We've seen this format a lot, a huge trend lately, where people are going to any destination, and let's say they invite guests for like a 4 or 5 day trip, and that it's maybe a welcome, but then there's like this, maybe everyone arrives Thursday, and then Friday it's this like hangout day. And on the hangout day, there's nothing really wedding related other than just making memories. So it's a pool day, it's, wine tasting somewhere, it's just hanging out with whoever is there at the wedding to make the memories. Then potentially the next day is the rehearsal dinner night, and then the next day is the wedding, the day, and then the brunch, and everyone leaves. On a format like that, in these mega opulent weddings in beautiful places, as Aragon, we're able to, again, like really shape the memories and be a part of it. But also we're able to see how all of the guests who came in strangers left BFFs over these 3, 4, 5 day weekends. And that is incredibly special. Have you also felt that when you've seen multiple day events?
Yeah, for sure, Rachel. I love that. And I feel like, I can even see obviously the passion in you when you're chatting about this, because I feel like regardless of what area in the industry you are, we all, at the end of the day, are hospitality pros. Yeah. And so when we experience hospitality or we feel that hospitality, it's like why we do what we do, right? And so you're so right. When I do like multicultural events or like long multi-day events, you get to know your client more and more each of the days. You kind of get to know their guests more. You might even like tweak things like, oh my gosh, they would totally love this. Let's do this. And I think that that's also just speaking to obviously the level of professionalism and experience that you bring to the table to be able to gain that trust from those clients to produce the result that that they're going to love and that they're going to walk away from feeling good. You guys are going to walk away from feeling good. That's really what I think it's all about, right?
Yeah, sure. It is. Yeah.
It's so important for sure. So curious, circling back for all of our lovely couples listening, what advice would you give to couples when they're like beginning this journey? Maybe they're having early conversations with family members on what do we want the entertainment to look like for our weekend? Like, what are some like good maybe things that they should be asking themselves?
The first thing is I would align on your main entertainment. Locking in what you want that main reception to be. Dinner and dancing, is that a party band or it's either party band or DJ usually. And then we have our third option, which I love so very much, and it is so popular, our DJ hybrid, which is where you get that DJ band fusion together of a DJ with live instruments that is really buildable and moldable. I often sometimes, so our process, the process of when we're meeting new clients is that we take our initial intake, and then we usually move into a proposal process, which we send these beautiful curated proposals for them, and they're able to look at video links, kind of get an understanding of what we're offering. Sure. And then we move to a Zoom or phone call. And I really love being on Zoom with our couples because I always start off every Zoom with like, tell me about yourself. I want to know about them as a couple. I want to sense their energy. I want to, I crave for like the inside jokes, the moments that I'm able to kind of decipher, oh, I see what's going on here. He really wants a band because his brothers have all had bands, but she or he really wants a DJ. I wonder if there's a world where we can offer the DJ fusion. Or, okay, they definitely want a band. What's most important to them? Is it like a really big mega band, super polished professional? Or do they want something a little more rough on the edges, youthful, etc.? And we're kind of able to go back and forth. So to answer your question more directly, my biggest advice would be to just focus on the main reception entertainment first and really understand what that is.
Sure.
Once you're locking that in, all of the other aspects of the day, we can continue to mold over the time. It's currently summer of I'm like, what year is it? 2024. Currently end of summer 2024. We are already booking weddings. I already have 2026 inquiries.
Yeah.
So, the main reception entertainment is so important to get that locked in early. So you have the peace of knowing that you're in great hands with your band and with Aragon.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And honestly, it makes sense to almost work backwards in a way. Like instead of looking at like your welcome party or I don't know, Senki or your ceremony, like maybe really look at that main dinner reception because that's probably, I don't know, 80% of the time. There are some of those outliers out there, but 80% of the time, that's probably where the most amount of like dancing and just like free hanging out with your guests that you're going to have over the course of that weekend. So like really understanding like what you want that night to look and feel like, I think is brilliant because then you can kind of make sure it's all cohesive as you backtrack and start to layer those things in through the other events that you might be hosting.
Exactly. And we're able to, we're able to do exactly that. We're able to look at it and say, okay, this is set. What will complement that? What will feel natural to move into that?
Right.
That's where our expertise kind of comes from as well, of us able to look out big picture and say, if you are having a DJ hybrid for reception and you also want an after party with the same DJ, but we want saxophone to stay for after party, maybe you don't do the saxophone for cocktail hour because it will be overkill. We talk about wanting our guest experience and couple experience to always be to never get bored of like their auditory experience.
Sure.
So they have to hear other things. They need to see other things, whether it's taking a DJ, for example. Sometimes we can build a DJ to feel very unique, even if your DJ or your musical tracks with no like live band entertainment throughout the entirety of your wedding. It's repertoire selection. It's where we're placing our musicians with the DJ. It's just kind of, if we're bringing in an MC, how we're crafting that. It can feel very exciting, even if it's a DJ the entire time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally with you. I honestly didn't even think about that. Like you almost get fatigued from like listening almost to the same thing over and over again or what have you. And so I think creating that experience and working with someone like a professional like yourself, and even I tell couples all the time, our field, we're great at wedding planning. We understand like on-site logistics. We understand how to make sure the vendors show up and like shine at their most effective, that all the event details have been pre-communicated. But then when the day shows up, it really is the vendor's time to shine and show like what they're really great at and what they do. And so I love that even with that initial touch with that potential client, that you're trying to get to know them and like what's important to them, understand maybe family dynamics or like how the event's going to be structured, because all of that's going to play a big role. And again, anyone that's listening, I know it might seem maybe daunting initially when you're thinking about entertainment, like do we want a live band? Do we want this? Well, this is kind of why I had Rachel come on to this podcast with me, because I wanted to give a little bit of context that it doesn't have to be complicated. There are amazing pros out there that can support you in this journey to like map it out and make sure that it all flows and really make sure you have a really great entertainment experience overall. So I appreciate 100%. You that.
Yeah, we really pride ourselves at Aragon on our delivery. I can sit here and say that we have the best talent. I believe that, but there are so many wonderfully talented companies and bands and artists out there. So yes, our talent is incredible, but what I know for certain we stand out is with our delivery. And when I say our delivery, I mean the high touch, seamless experience that we are providing our couples and our clients. We talk about how important it is to us to be collaborative, to be kind, to work with other vendors and partners on site in a way that we have the same collective goal. Like at the end of the day, Brittany, your client is also my client, and we have the same communal experience of wanting everyone to be happy and their expectations to be exceeded. And that means it's a partnership. And with Aragon, you're getting that. You are fully taken care of in every step of the way, from initial inquiry through event completion. And an example of what we do on site that is a little bit different is that all of our events come with an on-site producer. Okay. So earlier when I was speaking about how I was the director of event production, I was a senior production manager on site. So our producers attend every event in which producers act as the liaison between our talent and you, the planner, you, the client, you, the catering team, the venue, other vendors on site. So there is the production staff that is able to, answer the questions, know where to go, never put anything on your plate, whoever the your is. The entertainment is fully taken care of by us. And then on a deeper way, we call a running show, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So an example I always like to use is during reception, your band is up there. It's a beautiful 12, 15 piece band with horns and strings, and everyone looks incredible in custom wardrobe. And it's, just feeling amazing. Mm-hmm. And the MC is about to announce the father of the bride speech. Right. And as they go to announce the father of the bride speech, with potentially a different company, he'll announce it. Everyone's been at that wedding where, they go to announce, and now if the father of the bride, Chuck, could please come up and give a toast. Okay. Right. And Chuck's in the bathroom.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, actually, we're just going to jump into another song really quick. And it's like, oh, okay, Chuck's in the bathroom, Whereas with Aragon, our producers are talking to our stage and our artists through their in-ear microphones. So as a producer, I'm in the back of the room, standing next to you, kind of calling the show live. And I'll say, hey, Trey, actually, we were about to go into the father of the bride dance, but the father of the bride, Chuck, is in the bathroom. So we're just going to go into another song, and I'll tell you when to call it. Mm-hmm. So then all of a sudden, they keep going. The music never stops. Aragon provides 4 hours of continuous entertainment. We don't take any breaks. We're never putting on a playlist. This is nonstop, seamless delivery of entertainment. And that's a perfect example of when I'm talking about that seamlessness of where I'm taking the producer is able to go, oh, Chuck's in the bathroom, Chuck's back in the bathroom. Okay, Trey, next song, go right ahead. Chuck's ready. And at that point, I've already communicated with you, who's talked to Chuck. He knows that he's up next and he's going to hold the microphone.
Right.
So it's that type of collaboration that we were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Because really that flow, and for any couple right now that's looking at building even their reception timeline or formalities, we're going to do a grand entrance, then so-and-so is going to do a welcome speech or whatever it is. I think that having run a show or having a producer to support you, especially if there's live entertainment, because I'm with you, Rachel, like I've been in experiences before where, we were sort of obviously playing the planner role, the management role, but then there is live entertainment. We don't necessarily have that one person. And so it's kind of like that awkward, like, hey, can I borrow you for a second? Like off the stage, And so I think that having someone that can support you with that production side of it is so critical, because your guests I definitely feel like when things feel organized and things feel at flow, I feel like people can also relax because they know that like things are being handled, if that makes sense. It's just like a vibe that you get. And so I definitely feel like having that layer of security and protection really for things to flow well is so critical.
Yeah, it's very Olivia Pope. Like it's handled. Everything is handled. We have everything is aligned.
Yes, absolutely.
And that feels, you're 100% right. There is nothing worse than being on your wedding day or at your special event and feeling stressed about what's going to happen or what has happened or what's next or a timeline. Right. I want all of our couples and clients to show up to their event as a guest.
Yeah.
You know, like I want them to show up and feel like they are experiencing it as though all of their guests are. And that means not putting any of those things on their plate. That means not creating any amount of behind the scenes stress that they don't need to be made aware of, or that you, the planner, doesn't need to be made aware of. It's being one step ahead of 2 steps ahead of all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely makes a lot of sense, Rachel. You know, I feel like I could talk to you about entertainment forever. But but I wanted to see, you know, we always end every episode with, you know, you don't know what you don't know. If you feel like there's anything that we sort of left out, or just any other comments or remarks for closing. And then I would love for you to share with couples how they can find out more about the company and where they can find you on social and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Don't know what I don't know. Well, I hope I said everything. I do love to talk. So I'm sure my airtime was
you were perfect. You were
perfect.
right.
Yeah, I do, you know, especially when I'm passionate about it. You know, my job is sales, sure, but it's also, you know, I just really believe in the company.
Yeah.
And really, like, touching back on like what we create is so special. You know, I think people choose Aragon because of our talent, yes, and this feeling, like this feeling of you and I saying that we could talk about this all day. This is how I feel with my couples and our other clients. You know, that we get to, you know, they feel that they trust us. They feel taken care of, and that is a responsibility that I really value, you know. So I'm every event that we sign, I'm excited about it. I was working with a bride and a planner earlier this year, planning their wedding in Nantucket, and it's for next summer. And the entire process was just so lovely that in my mind, I have already been like, I can't wait for their wedding. And I will be there producing. And that there's just like these moments that I'm like, I don't want to miss that. You know, I feel so invested. And sometimes people are looking for entertainment and they only look at a dollar on a line item, and this band costs this much and this one costs this much. And you know what? I'm going to go with this one. And I think that if you're approaching entertainment in only that way, I think you're missing a big part of what we offer.
Right. Definitely.
And what you might be missing.
Yeah. I would agree. I love that. I really appreciate you bringing that to light, Rachel, because I think it's important for every couple to consider when you're looking at live entertainment in general.
Yeah.
So, but tell us all your social deets. Where can people find more about you?
Yes, absolutely. So aragonartists.com, ARAGON artists, plural.com, and on Instagram, IG, at Aragon Artists.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Rachel. I so appreciate your time and expertise. I can tell how passionate you are about what you do, which makes all the difference.
Thanks. I really appreciate it. This has been so fun. And, you know, I just wish you and this podcast so much success. And I can't wait to work together again soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.